Hi, today a little bit about loneliness. The more I work with people, the more I start to notice that the real pandemic, the real kind of disease that is affecting everyone is loneliness. We as people, even though we are surrounded by others, by other people, by other toys, by so much that's going on. It's so busy outside. The world is so fast and the time goes so fast and we have so much to do. And I think we don't take the time to actually slow down and realize how lonely we are until something very unpleasant happens. Some issue comes up with the family member, with friends, just in general in life, or maybe a health issue, whatever issue comes up, which makes us slow down from this rat race, right? When we slow down, when we actually have to take a look at ourselves and what's going on and how our life is, then those people then realize how lonely they feel with all of this. And of course, it's just an illusion, right? But it is really, I started to find that's the real, like, uniform feeling or blockage that we have is loneliness, that we feel so separate. When the issue come up, we feel so lonely with those issues. We think that our suffering is ours and no one can understand us. No one can hear us. Like that, there's no support. Even other people try to say, oh, it's going to be okay, or maybe you do have family members who try to support you. Yet at the end of the day, or when everybody leaves and you're alone in the room, or when you go to sleep and you're alone with your thoughts, what comes up is, wow, this is so big for me. No one feels like that. It feels like I'm the only one who's suffering right now. It's such a disconnect from the universe, from the energy, from others. And I started to think, like, where does it stem from, to kind of give a little bit of a picture of it. And that illusion that is created of that loneliness, of course, will stem from our childhood. Because when we feel lonely, we also feel unheard, unseen, misunderstood, that our emotions are not validated, that there's no one out there who really understands. And when you look at the childhood, and that child that, let's say, goes to school and goes to meet other people, to start forming new relationships, and there's bullies at school. The person needs to familiarize himself with other surroundings. That starts to create stress, and that starts to create different emotional triggers, different emotional blockages that form, because we do want to be accepted, we do want to be loved, right? So we will start to form or start to adapt different coping mechanisms or different ways that we can get love from others. Some people will become people pleasers because they know that if they are pleasing and helping and getting out of their way to help others, then others like them, and that's how they acceptance and love. So that's what they teach themselves to be, people pleasers, because they look for love, they look for that connection in that way, right? There are some other ones that find that if they're strong and they control everything and everybody, then people will be with them always, and no one will disagree. So this is more of a violent, of a control, of a overbearing person that everybody has to listen, because otherwise they get upset, and no one wants them upset because they're important, right? So there's another coping mechanism that we learn, because this way everybody will be, nice to them, and that's how they get love, right? Some people can, for example, or like children are really good at it when, let's say, the parents are fighting and the child doesn't know what to do. Like it's uncomfortable with its own feelings because the parents are fighting, right? And it doesn't know what to do. No one pays attention to that child. No one tells him or her what's going on and why are the parents fighting, and or why are they splitting up and getting a divorce, right? So the child tries to find in the little brain, what can I do, and very often what they do is actually they get sick physically. They start to have already noticed that, oh, one day they got a cold and they got a fever, and all of a sudden the parents stopped fighting, right? And they started taking care of the child, and the house got really nice, and they're not yelling anymore, right? So that's another coping mechanism of a person who's constantly, there's something wrong with them physically, or they're getting sick all the time, or they're complaining about their health to the family members or to friends, because that's how they get love. That's how they get like the attention. Then they can be heard in a way that people at least listen to them, right? But all of this is an illusion, and it stems from the emotional blockages, from the feeling of not being enough, from the feeling of I cannot just be myself because I'm not going to be accepted. I'm not going to be loved. This is not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. Whatever the feeling is, but it's limiting, right? So, and that creates a lot of loneliness. And then what I want to add also is that loneliness, we feel it as we search for other people. We want other people's love and attention and acceptance. But really what we're looking for is for ourselves. We're missing the connection to ourselves. Self-love, self-acceptance. If we had that, there would be no need for people pleasing and doing all of these subconsciously created forms of trying to get what we want in the ways that we've learned, right? All of this is like it's like programming. It's like a web that we get ourselves stuck in emotionally, and then when we're trying to figure out why we're not feeling well, why are we kind of not happy and not content, and there's new things that come that gives us a little bit happiness for a little bit, and then there's new people that come and it's like, oh, it's exciting, new friends or boyfriends or husbands even, or wives, right, for some years, but then it's like something's missing. And what's missing is, we feel lonely because we miss ourselves. We miss the connection with our light. And to be connected to your light is to start to be aware of this programming, because behind all of those beliefs, limiting beliefs that cause us pain in whatever way, is always emotional blockage. There's a pain that we hold right behind all of this mental programming or subconscious programming, and there is a need to connect to that pain, which we very often suppress. We push it away. We don't want to deal with it because, like, first we don't know how to, right? Because no one really taught us. But the way that what I've learned is the way to release that emotional blockage is to go through it, or at least start being aware of the person, right? of you, of yourself, and then get from your mind, stop thinking about it, and get to your heart, to your body, connect with your body, and then start feeling it. When start thinking about, remember when bring up the memories of the situation when you feel uncomfortable, and what does that remind you, without using your head. Just ask yourself a question and try to stay quiet for the answer to come up. And the answers always come up, because your soul wants to heal. Your soul wants to be full with itself, right? It doesn't want to be fragmented. We're very fragmented. There's different parts of us that want different things. It's almost like split personalities a little bit within us, because we're a few different people inside of one body, really. Because just imagine, if you're with one group of friends, you may act a certain way, but when you're with your family members, you act a different way. You've learned that. You know what works and what doesn't for you. What works and what doesn't for you to get what you want at the moment. And usually it's acceptance and love in whatever form that is. When you're on vacation and you're relaxed and you get too much alcohol or whatever, right? You act totally different way. Then who are you? Who are you then? Which person are you? Well, I am here to tell you that you are none of these people that are inside of you. None of those fragments. You are you. You are the light that's behind all of this blockage, all of this illusion, all of this pain. There's you. But to connect to you, you need to get out of your head, get down to your heart, and really feel what you're feeling. And this is with everything that's going on in the world, this is really the time to do it. To start finding yourself. Because we want to be the change that we want to see in the world. We, as a society, I've been kind of looking and noticing that we wait for something outside of us to happen, so it can make us feel better, feel safer, more connected, happier. Something's gonna happen. Well, the world really is a reflection of us as a society, as a humanity. So however you vibrate, whatever energy you hold, it's going to be reflected in your reality. So if we are full of unworthiness, loneliness, feeling misunderstood, feeling controlled, there's a lot of uncertainty, fears, and we feel that. If we feel that, that means we have that vibration within us also. And the reality is just showing that to us. If we don't look at that fears and unworthiness and loneliness, and don't release that from our system, then our reality is going to change very, very, very slowly. And we want it to get better. So I invite you today to start being more aware of what's really going on with me, and spend some time on yourself. I know it's vacation, it's nice time, but and everybody's doing tons of things, and that's good, right? We like to be happy and we like to be outside, but when there's a moment that you can take a breather, how we say, just sit with yourself and feel yourself. And see what really bothers me in life lately. What is that issue that's kind of constantly on my mind? What keeps me awake at night, right? And feel into this. Feel really and see, does it remind me of anything? Is there a scene from childhood that kind of have a similar flavor, and so forth? And that's how we become less lonely, because we start connecting to ourselves. It's not really about connecting to another person. It's to connect to ourselves and the light within. That's when we'll feel and find inner peace and inner love. And that's what I wish for you. Take care.